If you're a law student, you absolutely know the feeling. You've done all the reading, you know the material, but turning all that knowledge into a top-grade essay feels like a massive hurdle. Well, today we're going to fix that. We're creating the ultimate blueprint for writing incredible law essays. Let's get right into it. Does any of this sound familiar? I'm guessing it does. And you know what? You are not alone. That jump from what you were used to what a law degree demands, it can be pretty daunting. It's not just about remembering facts anymore. It's about how you argue, how you analyze, and how you present your case. So let's tackle this thing head on. I've always found it helps to think of an essay like a construction project. I mean, you wouldn't just start throwing bricks and wood together to build a house without a solid plan, right? Of course not. The same thing goes for your essays. An essay without a plan, well, that's just a shaky foundation waiting to collapse. But with the right blueprint, we can build something strong, structured, and really, really impressive. So, here's our blueprint for today. First, we'll talk about that big leap in expectations. Then, we'll get into the most critical phase, the planning you do before you write a single word. After that, we'll get our hands dirty with the actual construction of your argument. And finally, we'll cover the polishing stage. That's what takes an essay from good to truly great. Okay, so what is this big leap we're talking about? Well, at university, your lecturers are looking for way more than just a summary of legal rules. They want to see clarity, they want to see precision, and they want to see what the source material calls an air of legal professionalism. It's really about a mindset shift, from just being a student to becoming an apprentice lawyer. This quote, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's so blunt and so true. In the world of law, your ability to write clearly is every bit as important as your legal knowledge. You just can't separate good legal thinking from good writing. They are two sides of the same coin. All right, let's get into our first stage, the blueprint. Honestly, this is where success is really born. The research and the planning you do before you even open a blank document is what separates a confusing, jumbled essay from a clear, persuasive one. Rushing the stage is, trust me, a recipe for disaster. This four-step process is absolutely your best friend. First up, deconstruct the question. I mean, really pull it apart. What is it actually asking you to do? Don't just spot a keyword and dump everything you know. Second, build your foundation with your textbooks. They give you the big picture. Third, use those textbooks as a launchpad. The footnotes and bibliographies in them, they're like treasure maps leading you to the really good stuff. And finally, the relevance test. You've got to be ruthless here. For every source you find, ask yourself, does this directly help me answer this specific question? If not, let it go. So, our blueprint is solid. Now it's time for the construction phase. This is where we build our essay, one solid paragraph at a time. And each one needs to be a sturdy, well-structured unit that actually moves your overall argument forward. We are not just listing facts here. We are building a case. And the best tool for this job is the PE system: point, evidence, and evaluation. It's so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. You start with your point. That's the main argument of your paragraph. Then you back it up with evidence, a case, a statute, a quote from an academic. And then comes the most important part, the part everyone forgets: evaluation. Don't just drop the evidence and run away. Explain its significance. Show the person reading your essay why that piece of evidence proves your point. Just look at the difference here. It's night and day. On the left, you've got a pile of loose bricks. It's just a list of disconnected facts. It's weak, it doesn't build anything. But on the right, that's a solid wall. It uses the PEE system. It makes a clear point, it provides evidence to back it up, and then it evaluates that evidence to build a logical, persuasive argument. It shows a completely different level of understanding. That's what we're aiming for. Now, as you're building these arguments, you also have to find your legal voice. And let's be honest, the source acknowledges that using formal legal language can feel a bit weird at first, maybe even a little pompous, but it's a huge part of your training. You're learning the language of your future profession, and I promise, with a little practice, it'll start to feel totally natural. And this slide just makes that difference crystal clear. He went to court and won is how you'd tell the story to a friend. But the claimant brought an action and was awarded compensation. That is how a lawyer communicates. It's precise, it's professional, and it shows you're comfortable with legal terminology. This is the exact shift you need to be making in your writing. Okay, the house is built, the main structure is solid, now it's time to polish everything. This final review stage is what separates a decent grade from a top one. It's all about catching those small errors, making sure everything is clear, and perfecting every last detail. First up, let's talk about a really crucial point: academic integrity. Plagiarism is a big deal, but let's be super clear about something. Law essays expect you to use the work of other people. That's how you build an argument. The key isn't to avoid using other sources, it's to always give credit where credit is due. The goal is to show you can engage with the big ideas in your field, not to pretend you came up with them yourself. Referencing can feel so intimidating, but it really doesn't have to be. This slide here basically boils it down. For most of the sources you'll use, you just need a few key bits of info. For a case, you need the names, the year, and the report details. For a statute, the title, year, and section number. See? It's just a formula. Once you get the hang of the basic pattern, you'll be fine. So, right before you hit that submit button, run through a final checklist. Here's a pro tip. Read your work out loud. It's a total game changer for catching clunky sentences. Check that your intro actually sets up your argument, and your conclusion wraps it up nicely. Double-check your citations. But most importantly, and this is the big one, go all the way back to the very first step. Look at the original question one last time. Have you actually answered it? It's the single most common mistake, and it's so easy to fix with one last, focused read-through. So, if you take one thing away today, let it be this. Building a great law essay is not about using the fanciest words or finding the most obscure cases. It's about structure, clarity, and logic. It's about taking really complex ideas and presenting them in a way that is organized, persuasive, and professional. Great legal writing is really just clear thinking made visible on the page. At the end of the day, learning to write a law essay is about so much more than just getting good grades. It is your training ground. It's where you learn to think, to argue, and to communicate like a legal professional. You have the blueprint now. The only question left is, are you ready to start building?